This is a really weird thing to do.
It is a really weird thing to do.
Countercultural.
It
It's
is
super countercultural.
countercultural.
Just like grab a bunch of cameras.
That's why I'm like, guys, go. I don't want to do this.
I mean,
Set up
all
and
of it.
Oh, yeah.
Street epistemology. Fucking weird, man. I mean, if you actually do it for a YouTube channel and you're making content,
It is weird.
it's weird.
Yeah.
It's cool though.
Well, I was saying it's weird to have that kind of conversation in our culture.
It is.
To be just putting yourself in a neutral position and try to understand the other person and hopefully having them understand themselves better
Yeah, right.
instead of my ideas are the right ones.
Right.
And this is why.
Right.
That's the culture.
Absolutely.
And it's
It is.
countercultural to say,
Why?
help me understand that better. I've got questions. Rather than my ideas are the right ones.
Exactly.
Obviously, like
Yeah.
here's the evidence.
We're here to maybe offer a more accurate presentation of what that might be have evolved into.
Yeah, we basically have our opinions about how well that was conducted. And we think that that wasn't conducted very well. So we're trying to put on a better example.
But here you guys are, and are you interviewing a lot of people? Are people talking to
We
you?
just got set up. But it sounds like you're ready for an interview.
Yeah.
You asked me.
Did you say that you kind of wanted to talk about what happened here a couple weeks ago?
Yeah, I think it was about a week ago. There was this, and I forget his name, but this ex-Portland State professor who I believe left Portland State because he believed he couldn't talk about issues without being shut down.
If we don't record these talks, the problem is no one can see it, this dialectic getting demonstrated, right? So
Basically, having a conversation with somebody, and my job is to basically come from a neutral perspective, and you get to pick a topic that you want to talk about.
It's like I can have this kind of conversation where I stay impartial, but giving you any of my actual ideas or thoughts, whether they be right or wrong to Portland State, I can't do that. Like, I don't feel safe doing that.
I think this particular person was the kind of person that Peter was really looking to talk to.
That
right?
was
Like
the
from
guy.
tour.
Yeah. Hey there, how's it going? Come on over.
You guys seem to be here a lot. Like, you did an abortion thing, right?
Street epistemology is it's basically focusing on how somebody came to a belief and how they decided that the reasons that they're using and the methods that they're using to arrive at that belief are reliable.
When should we believe? Well, I feel like I'm constantly believing whether I like it or not.
It's like some invisible line you accidentally cross, and then you don't know about it until you cross that line and you can't go back. And so I feel like once I take a step too far for Portland State to be comfortable with me, talking about my opinions, I'm out of here.
Yeah.
My son's young. He's been raised in this whole environment of, from high school, like the Me Too movement happened when he was in high school. He's
Right.
21 now. And all of a sudden he's in this liberal high school in Portland and all the girls are wagging their fingers at him.
So you can do street epistemology even, I think, with goals. It doesn't even necessarily need to be beliefs. It could be like, what should I do?
Typically, the conversation is more meaningful if the claim that you bring is meaningful to you.
Yeah.
I'm a freshman currently.
Okay.
Yeah.
Here at PSU?
Yes.
Okay.
Hence all the PSU gear.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Because I think that you can use this dialectic even to help someone think about what they ought to do
Yeah.
or what their goals should be.
Yeah.
Sound epistemology?
Sound epistemology and abstract activism.
Does that have anything to do with, like, math?
It can. It's about...
Abstract.
I gave you one answer on that.
Give
I'm
me
sorry.
one answer, yeah.
Yeah. I just like hit a vape really hard and I'm like kind of.
I feel very in the dark about a lot of things that happen here.
He was assaulted. You couldn't say anything. You were bad because you were white and you were a guy,
Yeah.
right? So he sort of became defensive about it.
Is there something about you being black that influences your number on the scale?
Do you have something in mind that you want to share?
Anthony hates me in this regard.
And I thought like environmental acts were everyone was like given proportional access to everything. And what I'm
Okay.
learning is that it's not entirely true. And growing up in Tigard, I wasn't exposed to a lot of these ideas and a lot of different people.
It seems like that talk really damaged the community around here a little bit.
Were you here 2 weeks ago? Yeah. And what did you
I
think?
just want to know more about you guys.
Nicotine vape, I'm not stoned.
Oh, okay, good to know.
Yeah.
I think it's more of a societal thing. The reason I feel the way I do is because of the cancel culture that was going on. I mean, again, not that what Peter, the question was asking was a productive question, but he got shut down immediately by people who were yelling at him and flipping him off, and that from both sides isn't actual discourse. It's not reaching a goal, no matter what his goal was.
Are you okay with being recorded?
Yeah, I don't care.
Okay.
Yeah, it doesn't matter to me. I'm old. I'm like, I don't need to worry about like offending. I've already offended people in my classes, I'm sure.
So normally I never ask this question, but
It's okay.
What I've got is my can of words.
The ironic thing is I saw his what should I call it? Like questioning, I guess, maybe like thought experiment is what he would like to phrase it as.
I never felt that way in college.
Never. You could speak your mind on whatever you wanted to. Nobody cared.
Yeah, nobody cared because it wasn't like.
We grew up in a different time, though. Different America.
I think the problem that a lot of people go into these conversations with is not being impartial. And as difficult as that is, everyone is going to have some bias, something they want to get out of the conversation. And people need to see it as less of a battle to win in the conversation. Like, oh, there is only two genders. I've won the argument. Is that it's not an argument. It's just learning what other people's ideas are and if they contradict themselves or not. And then you don't have to have some middle ground. You just need to hear what people say or think. And then just move on.
What were the appearances of the incident 2 weeks ago over here, do you think? You don't need to necessarily even fill this out. You can keep that, fold it up, and
Why
think
not?
about it.
Think
Yeah,
about
why
it.
not?
I can see where it pushes other people's buttons if you're really conservative. You know? I mean, I think the biggest problem is the Bible. Honestly.
Yeah, what's a reason you're not at 100?
So what do you think of when you hear the word myth? How did you see it?
I saw it as kind of a one-sided conversation where he obviously had like an idea that he came into the conversation with that he wanted to push, which you can see that. He had two videos that came out. One of them at the end, he actually agreed with the, I know that there's anything wrong with agreeing or disagreeing inherently with the question, but as somebody who is provoking the thought, he should be impartial. And he obviously wasn't impartial based off one of the two videos.
Yeah, we have our work cut out for us if we want to do this again on another day.
I mean, you picked the right spot.
Yeah. Yeah, we did.
At university,
What makes it a good spot?
because it's a university and it's an open area within the university.
What about it being a university makes it a good spot?
People are more opinionated. This kind of age group, like 18 to 20. I'm a grad student. I'm 25.
So like fresh ideas, that kind of thing?
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
full of quote-unquote piss and vinegar.
Yeah. I think the strangest belief that I ever encounter is the very idea of what belief is.
The problem with Peter was having is that he would hear what somebody would say and he would disagree. And it's okay to poke holes in somebody's argument, but when they poked holes in somebody's argument, just continuing to batter that idea. And it's like, not everybody's going to be willing to change their opinion on the spot. And continuing to batter in that point is just going to make it an argument. You're not trying to find some, I don't know.
It's a little weird to me in this time and age how there's less people who are religious and yet that's dominating our politics.
What would you need to see in the next month to move your number in either direction? It's a hard question.
I'll have to think about that for a second.
Mental wellness is a huge part of my life.
Mental wellness?
Yeah.
Where were you? Did you see it all go down or just hear
I
about
saw it right at the end, and I was wondering what's happening here. And there was this group of students surrounding the guy, and he said, "Sorry, we're not doing any more videos." And I asked someone, "What's going on?" And the student said, "Oh, this guy thinks there's only two genders."
Do you know what this looks like? Can you imagine what this looks like? Have you seen Steven Crowder? You know what kind of reputation that guy has? Does this look any different than Steven Crowder when we put a thing on the whiteboard? It looked almost like all we needed to do was write "change my mind" at the end of the statement, and it would have looked like we were doing what Steven Crowder was doing.
That's a good idea.
multiple
Change
people.
my mind at the end. Yeah.
Number 8, someone can be certain something is true yet still be mistaken.
Yeah, no, totally.
If it was me, I would want students to be able to talk about, basically not have their freedom of speech infringed on. But not have to worry about that. However, I don't know if that's what Portland State wants from students. I feel like this is a institution that wants to push an agenda of being very open to different ideas, and that's awesome. That's amazing. That's the point of a university. But by doing that, it discriminates other ideas of thought.
We're never going to have the John Lennon song, which is my favorite song of all time, you know, Imagine all the people living life in peace, because everybody's at a different place in their lives.
And take your time, because I'm putting you on the spot. And the whole idea is to give this thought.
What do you mean by mental wellness?
That kind of phraseology and emotion behind it made me feel scared to give any opinions I have, whether they were positive or negative.
Might be good targets. Not targets, that's a bad word to say.
Battery?
Sorry, video
Some
camera.
more victims.
You need to.
I guess it's how open you are to changing what you believe when you encounter those ideas that kind of makes a difference. But
As a student, I would want to know whether I can talk about these things in general or not. Because as much as it sucks, I care more about being an athlete and having my scholarship than I care about having conversations like this. No offense.
Do you have like a particular claim that you think we could examine? And I truly do not have the answer for this next question in my mind at all. It's like totally up to how you're thinking about it.
Well, I just took a class on it.
No matter how I feel, wearing the Vikes shirt and anything, or I represent Portland State. And as a student, I feel like I could get kicked off the track team, cross-country team, or I could be expelled if I gave an opinion that was unpopular or I gave an opinion that was popular. I'm scared to talk in general. And especially when it's a very provocative statement like that, it's not a very safe space to go talk about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're gonna have an uphill battle just to get people to talk to us.
Well, yeah, if they're afraid to talk at all.
Well, if they're afraid to talk and now they know it goes on video and can be uploaded and seen over 2.5 million times.
Yeah. Do you think that there's something that you hold to be true? That if it were to change, or if you were to change your mind about that thing, it would change who you are as a person?
I feel from Portland State's perspective, to have open discourse like this, I would need some guidelines on what can I talk about. Like, can I talk about politics or anything that's like provocative to Portland State? I don't know.
That's something that you personally believe? Something that if you did without would change who you are as a person?
That's probably the tipping scale for you.
Thanks, Gio.
Okay.
I feel like I figured that out just as I said it.
Got it.
It makes me feel like I don't really have a voice, and I mean, I'm stereotypically like a white male who obviously in terms of like societal standards, I'm the one that usually gets their voice heard the most. And that is an inherent flaw in our society and the majority of the systems that go on.
That is good footage because, they told Peter he was harming people.
Yeah.
But it's like actually the university's harming people by not allowing them to freely speak.
to answer your question, if I were to somehow come to the realization that God was true, I would probably start, I don't know, following more religious practices or something, you know.
Do you think that there are restrictions on what you can say? Like, and
don't worry, we're not the two gender people. It's fine. I'm sorry. See, that's what I mean. We get.
Oh, I do know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
We love to hear what you have to say too. So now that we have this understanding, what do we do about it?
No, this was actually a lot more pleasant than I thought it would be.
Sweet.
But, like, thank you so much.
Yeah, it's definitely a technique that anyone can learn. Feel free to look it up. And my name's Nathan. My channel's Abstract Activist. And there's a whole community of other people that do what I'm doing. Yeah,
That's really cool.
check it out. Hey,
Thank
man.
you so much. Yeah.
Good to meet you.
Likewise. Likewise.
Indeed. You gotta have a great rest of your day, y'all.
You too.
I'm going to ask a couple of questions about that, if that's okay.
Yeah.
I'm still a human, and I like having my voice heard. And as soon as I saw that guy was recording, and that one female student said, or I believed female just from appearances, said that, I was like, I gotta keep walking. I just kept walking. I did not want to have that conversation because I don't want to get thrown out of Portland State. I don't want to have my academic scholarships taken away from me. I don't want to be associated with that type of image.
Is it a written rule that no one can speak about these things?
Right.
Is it coming down from faculty and staff?
Right.
Or is it coming from peer pressure?
If it was bad to be over 6 feet, maybe I'd get shortening surgery. Take a little bit off my ankles or something.
I get looks like that just having this conversation. Is people assume I'm some right-wing nut job or give me looks, and it's like, no, I just feel afraid to talk in general, just from a societal standpoint, being a student, being an athlete.
This is not the city I moved to, over 16 years ago.
Welcome to Portland.
So, just to make sure I'm understanding you correctly.
Yes.
There was a thought experiment going on here that you happened to see.
Yes.
And you didn't feel like you could engage with it because it could jeopardize your standing at why you're here at this university to begin with.
Yes. That's pretty much it. Yeah.
Number 7 on the survey is some beliefs should never be questioned.
Yeah.
And I have never encountered such a phenomenon around the advocacy of not talking about certain things than I have around the things that Peter seems to be worried about.
If you were to tell me, or rather if you were to be able to prove to me that the government did put spiders under his skin, for example, maybe I'd be more wary about the government, but
that made me feel a little scared. I was like, oh God. One person recording me and I'm out of here,
But I love what you're doing.
Well, thank you.
I hope you guys get a lot of people that talk to you.
Let's spread the word a little bit. Let people know that we're here. If you know somebody who you think could use an investigation.
How important is it for you, for your conclusions about the world that we share, to be accurate?
I feel like a lot of opinions now, not that I'm saying what he was saying was correct, just any opinion I might have, if it's unpopular, I could be quote unquote canceled.
Do you see your non-belief in religion as a belief?
Okay. Sorry.
I just want to have some general conversation, and being scared of just that is what's worrying me. It makes me a little upset that I can't have these conversations. Yeah.
well, to some degree, I'm putting faith in my ideas, but into the idea that there is no God or whatever.
I'm not going to think that everything I know is true. I'm also not desperate to understand everything. So I think understanding and
I feel it's safer to stay quiet sometimes about any opinion I might have. And even saying this, I feel like some people are going to assume I'm some right-wing nut job. I'm very liberal. Like, that's one of the reasons I came to Portland State.
I'm still taking something on faith, just in the absence of being able to prove it one way or the other.
It's 70% important to you to believe true things. Would that be accurate?
yeah.
Okay.
I have to very much toe the line in pretty much everything I do. Yeah.
Really?
I feel like even in classes I have to keep my mouth shut sometimes. Yeah.
I'm like, the way I feel about it, I would say I'm like 90%, right?
How confident are you that mental wellness is a journey?
Well, I guess I'd say 95% confident.
Okay.
But just having discourse in general is scary, you know?
Yeah.
The numeric rating doesn't do much for me, to be honest. I don't really know like what that would really mean.
If this was not correct, just hypothetically, would that be important to you to know that?
Yes.
Essentially, we're just asking people for how they're thinking about what they're thinking instead of what only. We're going in deeper than that to like the reasons why they're saying what they're saying and how they determine what they determine.
I feel like that's a lot more of a useful question, because when you ask the what, you usually get very black or white answers. But when you think of the why, that's not as confrontational, and I feel like you can get a lot more genuine responses between that.
Can I throw out a hypothetical?
Throw it out.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
Okay. You would feel safer sharing your views, whatever those are,
Yes.
not representing your school and being off campus.
Yes, because when I'm here, I feel like I represent Portland State, and if I go against an agenda that Portland State has, then I'm in jeopardy.
How confident would you be in my claim that there's an elephant in that building over there?
How much does this claim affect your behavior?
Oh, well,
It was just a statement that was on a whiteboard, and that's already dividing people into two parties, whether you agree or disagree.
How confident are you, 0 to 100, that you know that and let's say 100 is all answers, no questions,
Yeah.
that there's positively no elephant in there?
when I am thinking about it, I'd say like it's really, really, really important. Like, I could give it 100%. So yeah.
Okay.
Even like having this conversation, I'm not scared, but this could put me at risk, for example.
Yeah. Are you okay?
Oh, I'm okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I just don't want to give any opinions that I have.
Oh man, maybe if you were wearing a safari hat and you had like a little satchel and you're like, I might, you can got an elephant right in there. I'd be like, well, maybe there is an elephant in there, you know?
Yeah.
What's the main reason that supports your 95% confidence in this claim being true?
And so if somebody records me saying stuff like that while I'm wearing school clothing in the institution I attend, that's dangerous.
Nothing is screaming elephant in there.
I guess when you put the effort into it, you want it to be true. So.
I felt very cornered by the way that guy set up that discourse. And it didn't really feel like discourse. It felt very one-sided.
Portland's a weird city, though. There's that. I'm gonna say maybe 10% allowance for an elephant to be in there is maybe big, but also Portland's a strange city. So
It is a very strange city. You never know. I mean, there
You
could be
never
some
know.
other type of baby elephant or something.
I felt very one-sided from both sides because the question was obviously provocative, which led to a very upset response, understandably, from a lot of the students. In the video, you could see students flipping off the guy from I believe that's the 4th floor up there.
Yeah.
And that's not productive either to answer his question.
yeah, I mean the government's putting bugs in homeless people's skins, so
It's called Street Epistemology.
Street Epistemology?
Yeah.
If you wanted to have honest discourse, I feel there was going, for example, to the waterfront and having people who aren't students talking about it might be more beneficial.
Less certain that there is, to the claim that there is positively no elephant in there.
So yeah, we have YouTube channels that you can search.
40 people a month in Portland, Oregon killed themselves.
40 in Portland.
We just lost a student, right up here. He jumped off this parking garage.
I think he came to Portland State because he used to work here and he understands there's lots of students who disagree with a majority of his opinions and thought it would make a very interesting video to have some liberals really, really upset by what he said.
I'm sure you don't talk about religion or what the word you just said, epistemology, very frequently here. Or no, sorry, what is epistemology?
Take care.
Yeah, you too. I hope you have some more successful interviews today.
Appreciate it.
He posed it as a statement. He said there are only two genders. Like the one channel, where the guy sets up an idea and says, change my mind, and he has a little table and sit down.
Yeah.
This is exactly the argument I was making on live.
And
People who are taking a lot more of their life on faith. It'd be interesting to see them sit here and run through that experiment with you, but I don't know, maybe you've already run into those people.
makes it more of a battle to be right versus having an open discourse.
Is your 90% about there not being an elephant in there using faith to get to 90?
I walked by right as it was ending and I was like, I don't want to get involved with this.
These people look like they want to talk to you.
Hopefully.
Oh no, they don't. Oh, that's okay.
Hello.
So I was confused what it was because there was 30 students and I asked one of them and they said, oh, this guy thinks there's only two genders, and I'm like, I'm out.
Yeah.
I'm gone.
Yelling from the roofs is pretty funny though. Fuck you.
And it's all about keeping up your appearance as a university.
I kind of feel like I know how that conversation would go, but I'm not the one who sits around here and talks to people all day though, so maybe I wouldn't. But probably wouldn't be super productive. But what do I know?
Right.
We're getting more from the custodian than you are getting from
Portland State.
That's the first puzzle piece I ever gave out, so there you go.
Strange and squishy.
It's keeping up that kind of appearance.
Right.
And if I'm a student, I need to go in line with what Portland State wants, or else I'm fearful I'm going to be expelled or suspended or something's going to happen to me. And I don't know if that's true. That's just how I feel currently. Yeah.
Abstract activist. That's right. Take care.
I had this interview when I was in high school after a race, and I was like, man, that interview went great. And I saw it in the paper and like Tiger Today, and I said like 7 times in like a paragraph, and I was like, God, what is wrong with me?
That's a big part of why I encourage people to record their conversations, because you'll notice things, and then you'll actually course correct for them if you listen to your own interviews enough.
Yeah.
Oh. Look at here. I need to stretch. So
Yeah.
I'm hearing you say that you feel pressure to toe a line. Is that right?
I feel pressured to just
Or
not
say anything at
not
all.
even do anything. As soon as I heard them say like what the conversation was about, I bolted. I just kept walking.
Oh,
Yeah.
and that's from like social pressure from other students
Yeah.
to not talk about certain things.
And you said you had a scholarship too, right?
I have an academic scholarship. Yes.
Okay. And you run cross country for
the
university.
Yes.
And that could jeopardize his. He feels like that could jeopardize his standing with the university if he comes out and shares views. Right?
Yes.
I believe my thoughts are true.
Yeah,
What
like-
do you imagine the repercussions would be?
I don't know. I don't want to find out.
Are you okay with being recorded? Yeah, sure. I'm not gonna say anything too insane.
I feel like if I said, let's say for example, there are only two genders, and I firmly believed in that ideal, and it got 60,000 views like the previous videos did, because I watched them in their entirety. I feel I could be taken off the Portland State team because I represent Portland State, and if I'm wearing Portland State gear, we're told, don't jaywalk, don't curse while we're out on runs, because you represent the school.
Yeah.
What's great about this area is we can't get kicked out.
Right. We own it.
Yeah, it's public.
It came up last week when Peter was talking about it, because I had never even really considered dangerous situations like that, and then it came up and it was like, I should probably shut my mouth.
I think if I were to come back regularly here, but I'd get some really wicked interviews. We have to be really careful to interpret the words that other people use by repeating back what we think that they're saying, what
Yeah.
they mean by what they're saying.
Uh-huh.
And if you adopt this, I feel like you can talk about anything.
Yeah.
I honestly think he is doing drugs.
Yeah, that too. That'll fuck you up.
I mean, I feel like I want to be able to have conversations like that. It really sucks that I can't, because I'm coming here to expand my worldview, and I feel like I have already just by listening to what other people have to say, but I want to be able to share my own unique experiences to build on that. But I can't. I have like too much at stake in my own life to warrant that.
You can get closer and closer to SE, but you can never like get all the way to the ultimate ideal.
Much.
Your rapport is suffering before you start, because someone can spot you from a mile away and predetermine before they even come down to talk to you that you're a bastard. Then that's a problem for the goal of bridging the ideological divide, right? Can we understand the reasons behind their assumption? If we were to try to imagine those reasons charitably, can we conjure...
If I'm being charitable and I understand what's happened in our society, yeah, I can understand that.
Yeah.
Without asking?
Are we putting ourselves into their shoes and seeing the world through their eyes enough?
Yes, we have. It's being rammed down our throats every chance, everywhere we go, and we've been dealing with it. But they are not tolerant of anybody else's opinion of anything, really. Those types of people.
The way Peter had envisioned the tour was not at all something I would endorse. It wasn't street epistemology. It wasn't even trying to be. And the odd thing is that he called it a reverse Q&A tour, which was really just like, let me ask people who are anti-woke to express themselves loudly so I can get a protest going or something. I feel like he wanted to start a fire. He wanted the controversy, I think.
Yeah, I saw it as like definitely out there to push an agenda.
Yeah.
Oh, see, I see it a different way. I feel like he wanted to platform dissidents who feel like they don't have a voice in school, like that young man that you talked to, and really give them a platform to be able to speak their mind in a environment that was accepting of whatever you want to say. What was her claim?
Her claim was mental, and it was funny because
Mental illness was the thing?
It was
Are you fucking kidding me?
That's
ironic.
crazy.
Whoa,
It was happening.
dude.
It was
We were trying to see if people from 2 weeks ago who were part of the video want to come back and talk about, what transpired.
The thought experiment part is totally drowned out by the
I know.
what happened. So it's
I
like,
know.
It's the only thing that sticks in your head.
Right, exactly.
I was kind of torn. I was like, should I just pretend it's not happening?
I know.
And like,
Right.
because I can go into show mode.
Right.
Like theater, performance, music, all that stuff.
Yeah.
The show must go on.
Right,
type of mentality.
right.
But like we had to call it because she was getting uncomfortable.
Yeah.
So it's like,
I was getting uncomfortable.
We're asking them critical thinking questions that encourage them to come up with their own advice. That's cool. Isn't that cool, Sal?
I like how you turned the non-claim into a claim
Which one?
with Matt.
With Matt? Oh, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, from 0 to 10.
How confident are you that you can't talk
you
about
can't
stuff?
say anything, yeah. It's hilarious.
What?
They had to go through the whole process
Of buying water?
of making it the same way that they do coffee, like in the same order. Like the person that took my order could have just turned around and done that
Oh, yeah.
instead of it going through the whole making a thing and the God, that was so dumb.
Procedure! Bureaucracy for the water.
Do these fountains ever work?